What's up, leaders? What's going on? Welcome to another episode of Lead From Here podcast. I'm Jason. Today, I wanted to talk about one-on-ones. It's something we've talked about before on this channel, but I really wanted to dive in and talk through, what is the difference between a good one-on-one and a bad one-on-one, and kind of what could be the impact for you and or your team member that you're actually having the one-on-one with. We've talked about skip levels. We've talked about other things like that, but ultimately, your one-on-one is your ultimate opportunity to connect with your people, but also to help them see where they're going, to also hear what's going on with their life, and then ultimately let them do the talking. You are not there to get status reports. Listen, you can get status reports from email, from Slack, from your project management tool, whatever you're using to communicate or to provide status updates. That's where you get that. A one-on-one, generally speaking, unless there is something that is like crazy going wrong, you're in a SEV situation, a one-on-one should really only be about what's happening with that person. Personally, professionally, what do they want? How are they feeling? What are their fears? What are their dreams? What are their hopes? What are their goals? What are the things about them that makes them different from everybody else? What is the thing that you need to help them grow? When you look at one-on-ones, the one that makes them stay, the ones where they feel heard. They feel like you have an understanding of where they want to go with their career, what they feel in the moment, what their fears are, what their worries are, and then ultimately, what is helping them drive them forward? How are you doing that? Asking, how can I help, means nothing if you do nothing with it. You have to be in action around asking for feedback, asking for what they need, and then actually going and doing it. If you're not doing that, then we're starting to kind of get into the one-on-one that makes them leave. It's very rarely ever going to be one-on-one that sets the tone for somebody's exit. It's more often month over month, time over time, where either they skipped, you're treating them like a line item, they don't feel heard, they're asking for help and they're not getting it. If you are treating them like a number or just something that needs to be dealt with instead of building a relationship and helping them truly understand where they're going, you're going to lose that person eventually. If you walk out of one-on-ones regularly and you don't understand what's bothering them, what's hindering them, what's slowing them down, what they want in the future, where they want to go, what's working and what's not working, you are not having effective one-on-ones. Your one-on-ones are not where they need to be, and you're probably doing most of the talking, or they're 1 minute you're not actually diving into real topics. There's one caveat to that. Well, actually, there's two. One is if you don't have trust, they might be shorter and they might be less effective. So if that's the case and you really feel like you're trying and you're not getting anything, look at the trust. Look at whether you have that person's trust. The other thing is maybe you're meeting too often. If you're meeting weekly, which I was a big proponent of for a very long time, if you're meeting weekly, it's hard to really have anything to really talk about every week, whether you're talking about their career, what's working in a team, what's not working in a team, because those kind of changes and those kind of that movement at that scale doesn't happen week over week. With that being said, if somebody's like in a PIP situation or struggling, weekly makes sense because you're checking in, making sure they have what they need and making sure they're doing what they need to do to keep their career moving forward. Otherwise, 2 to 3 weeks, maybe even monthly is a pretty good cadence for most groups, especially for your seniors and above and the people that really have a handle on what they're doing day to day and are driving a lot of the technical decisions in a team. Every few weeks is probably more than enough because they are self-directed. We talked about that a few episodes ago. They're self-directed. They're going to keep moving. Doesn't mean don't meet with them, but it means meet with them less often because they don't want, there's nothing really to talk about. Because when you're at that scale of a career, everything elongates. Everything takes a little longer. Ultimately, I think the most important thing to take away from here is great one-on-ones are a conversation. It's not a list of things. It's not a status update. It's not any of those things. A great conversation leads to a great relationship, leads to great outcomes from one-on-ones. If you're meeting with your team member 30 minutes once a week, all throughout the year, that's 26 hours in the year where you'll have dedicated time with that person. It's up to you to decide whether that 26 hours is an investment or 26 hours of showing them that you really don't care and driving them away. You're in control of that. I don't want to beat this to death, but I think at the end of the day, making sure that you are having effective one-on-ones will just drive your leadership stock through the roof, make people truly feel like they have an advocate, somebody to help them figure their way through their career and understand what different diverging paths look like and what their options are as they get further in their career. Maybe it's not just this one straight and narrow. Maybe they want to dive into a different part of the career, a different sector, a different part of the business. And if you're having those real conversations, having those regular one-on-ones where you understand what their hopes and desires and what their strengths are. That is how you lead effectively. That is how you run one-on-ones. And if you're doing that, I promise you, you will be a much happier person and leader because you will actually affect change. Hope this is helpful. If you have any questions, hit me up, jason@leadfromhere.co. If you disagree, if you have any other ideas, please let me know on that email or anywhere else, any other social pages I have. Appreciate your time. I hope everybody is having a great week. Take care of yourself, take care of those around you, and yeah, talk to you soon.